beyond. And now we are moving on to silver, Arturiax versus G-Man.
Yeah. My old stomping ground.
Your old stomping ground. Yes, you went 10-0 in silver, if I recall. I think one of only two people.
No. Really?
You did, and I think that's probably why you reminded me you used to play in it, because you knew I'd have that stat ready, and you deserve praise for it. Wodar, one of only two people to go 10-0 in SCL, the other being Piers in gold, and Ponoob in platinum, by the way, in the very platinum we'll be casting later tonight, has a chance to become just the third with a few more wins. I'm sure we'll be casting some of those games later, but tonight it's Arturiax and G-Man. Yeesh, I hear you have some picks and bans.
I do indeed. Give me just one moment to pull those up.
Yeah, yep. Absolutely. And like I mentioned earlier, Arturiax and G-Man in a similar position to Gabriel and Fancy Pants. There's a big pile up in the middle of that division. And if you go on a run right now, you can separate yourself from that pack and find your way near the top. You might not be catching Dowsy, who has yet to lose, but you can get yourself pretty near the top. And against in that division, second tier ain't a bad place to be, because there are some really good players in silver this year.
Absolutely. All right, starting off with the bans, we got G-Man banning Library, and then Arturiax followed up with Tan.
And
we had
G-Man. Arturiax has banned Tan many times this season.
It's a reasonable ban.
Yeah.
G-Man ends up picking doubled Courtyard,
yep.
while Arturiax picks doubled Modern. So get some more Modern in.
They have both picked those maps multiple times already this year, so yeah, standard stuff coming out from both players.
And then G-Man going for Balcony again, a man after Wodar's own heart. And then Arturiax also picks Aquarium, so missing out on both the maps.
Nice.
Nice ending.
Nice ending. Hopefully a close match, because I would really love to see at least one Aquarium game. We all love the shark, don't we?
We do.
Absolutely.
Ready when you guys are.
I am in the game.
All right, I gotta load in, but I will be in just a moment. Both of these players.
I went 10-0? How amazing was I?
I can't tell which is worse, Wodar, that you're pretending not to remember so that I'll talk about it some more, or that you literally don't remember going undefeated for an entire season, which most people would remember probably for the rest of their lives. I'll mock you about it later. It's Arturiax as Orange Sorry on Courtyard.
All right.
All right. I'm ready now. All right. Starting off in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And thank you again to Yeesh for doing that. I just wouldn't feel right doing it without my buddy Tobo here. It's all his as far as I'm concerned. Arturiax is going to end up with someone they don't want to be talking to in a conversation, the boring old general who they have no interest in seducing, their actual seduction target, who is Alice. And if it's anything like the previous match, she's going to be looking at statues. Can't look at books this time, but she's staying put right now, flanked on either side by Wheels and Teal, which means there's not much room for Arturiax to go in and get a nice close flirt. Probably waiting for someone to leave.
Banana bread.
That's going to let off up to 3 lowlights, including an early statue visitor.
4. Yeah. Quite a bit of lowlights there.
Yeah, G-Man gets, I think, all of them. Very solid play, and that is an above-average number of lowlights for Courtyard, and it's early, too, so it's going to ripple throughout the rest of the game. There have been several early statue visitors to help compensate, though, and the spot next to Alice, meanwhile, that was previously occupied by Teal, has opened up because she's at statues, which means we go in, we get the flirt, and it is a green 51%. So this game is kind of shifting back and forth. Giving up that number of lowlights kind of puts you behind a little bit. Early statue visitors helps again, and the green flirt helps as well. Is this going to be a bug? It's going to be a bug attempt, and it looks mostly hidden, but it does not take. And that is rough. That is very rough, especially if it was seen at all. No indication from G-Man that it was, but that would have thrust them into a major lead on Courtyard if it was clean. Unfortunately, nothing doing, and Alice is on the other side, waiting to be flirted with.
Yep. Running over to Alice. That was a really nice bug attempt.
Yeah, I understand the decision. The problem is also, though, that you have a very slow character, which means, when you make a beeline for the ambassador, the sniper gets to see it coming. Seduction target leaves just as Arturiax is getting ready to flirt. They're going to chase to windows. Alice is going to sip, which is going to tempt them into thinking they can get this in, maybe? No, we're going to go to statues instead. We're going to get there just a little after Cowboy. He's going to beat us to the statue. Arturiax is going to bail. And we're going to go into a meaningless conversation. Maybe try another bug here. It's going to be fake into BB, I think. That's exactly what happens. It takes this time. G-Man highlights, and it's not clear what it's for. They have not been to statues yet, so big moment of truth probably coming up. Arturiax is going to try to finish that flirt, though, first with a minute left, and they could really use a green test here. They hit the green. It's a 2 flirt, and we've got 1 mission left, a hard mission done. Not clear how much of a suspect we are for the bug, but I think there's a decent chance inspects are going to work here. G-Man is watching Smallman very closely. One man watching another. Arturiax goes into statues. Big moment coming up. G-Man might hold, knowing they have at least 10 seconds. No shot coming off yet, but they are keeping that Amba in range. They're rotating around. Really good indication. Arturiax is going to win this now. We're in the mission win countdown. Putting the statues down. G-Man is not interested. That bug was clean, covered by the fake. Second bug attempt is the one that takes. It's right in front of the sniper, but they're not looking because they're reacting to the banana bread. Arturiax really wanted to bug that game. It showed, and it worked. 1-0 with a spy win on Courtyard. What a start.
Yeah. They somewhat forced that bug attempt right there, but it worked out. It was a bug in the face, but the ambassador was tapped, so like a lot of the hand was hidden inside Taft when it went off.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Certainly visible. You're not banking on hiding that from the sniper. You're banking on them looking somewhere else because you're trading those low lights for that little window. And again, like the other game, we see it's not a bug right after the fake. You give them a few seconds to glance at the Amba, then glance somewhere else. It's so counterintuitive. It's become the new meta in a lot of ways. And in this case, it wins them the game. And now G-Man has to try to answer as Rocker on the same venue.
I could see a lot of people thinking that the second BB has to be real, and they're not thinking that's hiding anything.
Well, that's the thing. You're not just going to process it like you would a normal banana bread. You're also going to process the fact that it's the second one, which gives you maybe a little more window as the gears have to turn in the sniper's head.
Yeah. Are we ready, Yish?
Yes, we are. Starting off as Leopard on Courtyard in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I'm learning all these new names for characters I didn't know.
There are quite a few of them. We're going to get right in and flirt right away with Smallman, and that is a green test, and that was an underrated part of the last game, Wodar, I think. The fact that they were able to two-flirt and didn't have to go to statues super late in the game certainly helped.
Yeah, definitely. If you can get your flirts out of the way quickly, it opens up a lot of other options for you in the game.
Yeah, it's not that the flirts are super valuable in themselves, it's that you don't have to worry about them. They say the benefit of having money is you don't have to worry about money. Well, the benefit of two-flirting is you don't have to think about flirt. You can focus on all the much more difficult things. The much more difficult things like entering conversations. G-Man bounces off that twice trying to sneak in for another flirt. They're going to go to windows instead to retreat and lick their wounds. Not clear how visible it was. It's not exactly a hard tell, but that was on screen. Gonna go to another window now, stare out into the void and wonder where it all went wrong. Maybe try to get in for another flirt right afterwards. There's still a space next to Smallman, but it's just as small as it was before. G-Man's gonna muster up their courage, maybe? No, we're gonna go to windows a third time.
This is a sad stage for this spy.
I kind of understand it. They're thinking that spot is not any bigger than it was the last time I bounced off it twice. Let's hope this new spot is a little bigger, and it is. And now you really need that green because you've just gone to windows 3 times in the interim. Does not hit it. It's a white test, but the ST leaves right afterwards, so we do have a little bit of help in that sense. We're at 85%. We have a fingerprint as well, so there are still a lot of options here. Coming up on 90 seconds left on the clock. We're going to have to start making some big decisions. If you can get the flirt done and the banana bread done in one fell swoop, that would help a lot, but they're in different conversations right now, unfortunately. G-Man cannot afford to be wasting this time right now in this conversation.
Hear me out, Track. How do you feel about an inspect swap to win the game?
Generally not great, but at this point, with all the idling and all the window visits and all the looking out at the topiary rather in Courtyard, too much topiary, not enough statuary, no inspects done. There's the banana bread. That's going to help, and any flirt in the other conversation is going to work. Instead, it's going to be a crash bug, and Arturiax looks like they're lining up the shot, and they are shot where they've spent most of the game at windows. I think that bug was simply a bug of opportunity because nothing else was lining up. I think that was a decent game to start, but after that miss in the conversation, everything just sort of fell apart, and Arturiax is up 2-0.
Yeesh, have you changed the game yet? Please say no.
I have not.
Okay, go back to right when the shot happens and watch Damon.
Well, I assume we're going to see Damon doing absolutely nothing, as is his wont.
No, he's doing more than nothing this time. He is sliding his way to the spot.
This had better be good.
Here we go. So, yes.
Is he skating his way over? Is that what's going on?
Just watch the stream.
Yeah.
Watch the stream.
Damon didn't get his steps in on a treadmill in Courtyard, I guess, is kind of what's going on. Kind of resembling a Looney Tunes character. Oh boy, he's kind of just he's being incompetent in style. That's what's going on.
Yeah, he has lost style.
Very nice.
Actually, on this game, I just wanted to point out that G-Man was close enough to bug without moving. And I think that would be a better bug than a crash bug they ended up doing.
Well, so I think the plan there was to bug behind the Amba. That's kind of the standard bug there on Courtyard, and I think they just missed it. So I think it was basically another pathing error, if I had to guess. And it's an easy one
That
to
makes
do.
sense.
Right, you end up. It turns into a crash bug when you accidentally go in front. So I think a lot of the individual decisions of that game were fine, but it's not just decision making; it's low level execution too. In addition to that high level decision making, and in this case, it swung the game. And Arturiax is a 2-0 lead already.
2-0 onto our third game of Courtyard. You had the ish.
Yep.
Sorry for the distraction.
No,
Nope,
it was absolutely worth it.
It was warranted. It was a warranted distraction.
Yes.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And Arturiax is going to start off as Hair, Oprah, Red Dress, whatever you call her. She has many names and a pretty good bug, and it is not going to be utilized here. We're going to take a bug path without the bug. We're going to go to Windows to assess the party, I think, and probably end up next to Seek here to get that first flirt in. Maybe we'll have another green flirt. It's been happening over and over, even though flirt has not always gotten done. G-Man's replay sniper camera is all over the place. Looks literally like they dropped their mouse for a second, but nothing happened in the interim. Just a drink take from Arturiax. And just like their compatriots in Iron, being very cautious about these early flirts. We're going to fingerprint this drink, and I think, let's see. Nope, it's a difficult, doesn't take, but we are probably going to banana bread. Now would be a great time. A lot of people are in conversation. One of them leaves while we idle, and the DA leaves too. Not sure I understand the hesitation there. That was a really, really good time.
Do you think that they didn't want to be seen talking when the BB happened?
It's entirely possible, but I think it was just a really good time. You'd waited a few seconds already. It wasn't too rushed. And now we're going to go get that flirt instead. It is a green, another green flirt, but we've already wasted a lot of time on a fingerprint attempt and a banana bread, which did not happen, if that was indeed the plan. Amba's nearby. We're going to break idle very slightly for a sip, but we're probably going to get away with it. And so far, it looks like we're going to timer flirt, but I think it might be a little late in the game for that. They're going to have to rush a lot late if that's the case. Reverse drive-by bug attempt is not taken, and we are indeed timer flirting from the looks of things. Another sip comes out, another slight animation break. Not too bad on Courtyard, though. Pretty close. And
So
we're not getting a lot of statue visitors either. I think only 2 so far.
Yeah. I feel like this is going to end with an inspect swap. But I think that's my answer to all situations like this.
Yeah, I think you're just trying to will it to happen at this point, but you might get your wish. Arturiax is going to go idle in a conversation in a game where we are already short on time. I guess they're going to try to come back. It's not going to be a timer flirt. They're going to try to force it. Nope, they're going to bounce off the edge, go to Windows, and there's just a minute left, and all we have done is a failed fingerprint attempt and half a flirt. We got to make a lot of progress, or we got to hope for a sieve shot, one way or the other, real soon. Nope, they're determined to get this flirt done, but the ST leaves again, back and forth. And now I think you really have to reassess whatever your plans were. Banana bread's going to come off.
Bread.
There are 3 possible lowlights. 1's taken. 2's taken. Let's see if they get pearls. That's going to be a cough as they leave, and G-Man sees it and picks up a much-needed win to keep the match in range. It is 2-1. That game fell apart very, very early, unfortunately for Arturiax, and G-Man catches the cough. 2-1.
Yeah, Arturiax there going for BB Purloin. Obviously not trying to double banana bread and then abort the second for a cough.
Probably not. One would hope not. I actually like I like the decision. I think at that point you were at a time you had to do something aggressive like that, but once again, the decision is fine, but the execution is lacking. It's been a common theme tonight.
I do have to say, recently, one early mistake can just start snowballing into more and more mistakes.
Well, it absolutely can, Wodar, but what's interesting is that if you accept earlier in the game that you're not going to have enough time, then you can plan the rest of the game around a good banana bread and a good purloin. Instead, what we had to do there was sort of rush both, it looked like, and the rush is kind of what leads to the cough and a few other things. So I think a big part of this is knowing at 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes that you might not finish, as opposed to deciding that with 50 seconds left on the clock. So it all comes back to pacing, doesn't it?
Yeah. Controlled aggression.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the moment of truth. That's where you decide, am I going to frame or am I going to finish? And if you decide you're not going to finish, you can pick your spots a little better.
Yeah. All right. Are we ready, Yeesh? This is game 4.
Yep, last game of Courtyard. See if G-Man can tie it up with the spy one as Papa Danger. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And G-Man not taking control right away is going to get dumped in a conversation with just the DA.
Takes a sip.
Yeah.
Thrilling gameplay.
Thrilling idling is what it is. The ST is all the way across on courtyard. G-Man actually waited long enough that a real banana bread makes sense. That's going to let off 1, 2, 3 low lights are possible, but some of them are off screen. Let's see how many they get.
That's actually not bad. Not bad
It's
at all.
perfectly reasonable, but Arturiax does, to their credit, get all 3 of the possible lowlights. Not bad. That's going to be a green purloin, too. They're going to walk away while the lowlights are coming off. They're going to get the first flirt. It's another green flirt, 51%. We get a reject from Salmon, so there's going to be a bit of a reject chain. There's a good chance G-Man's going to get away with this and be ahead and has a chance to tie with a spy win. Another reject coming out from Cowboy. This could not be going better for G-Man. Big, big advantage already. They could even chase their ST again if they wanted. Another reject's coming off. That's 3 in a row.
They gambled the whole game on this, and they won.
They might. Well, we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be 4 people at minimum. Irish is finally going to take it. Let's see if Arturiax gets a good look at the fade. Looks like a pretty good look. Cowboy obliges by walking away as it goes off and picking up a briefcase. That's very spy-like. And G-Man, if they're paying attention, has noticed at least a couple of these rejects, and they know that Salmon, Pearls, and Cowboy are all in that chain. They're going to go try to finish up this flirt now, and I do not think they're a big suspect, but at worst, they're 1 of 4.
This is definitely G-Man's game to lose at this point. They are so ahead right now.
You'd think so. The only thing that might hurt them is the fact that they were the instigator there rather than one of the rejectors in the middle, so you could say they're a little more likely to be the spy that might force a shot. And speaking of forcing a shot, we're going to go into statues, and this is the moment of truth. Last mission coming up. We've already done with a flirt. We're done so early that this might work. Yep, there's just a highlight. Unless Arturiax rethinks this is probably going to be a win on a brilliant purloin and a long redirect chain. Standard inspects, few more seconds to decide. Arturiax can think twice right now. They do not. G-Man has evened it up, falls behind 2-0, wins the next 2, and they have split courtyard.
Yeah, I couldn't have made that shot.
It would have been a really tough one. Yeah.
That was insane. Like, you usually lose if you get a white test purloin.
Well, in this case, it was green, and there was a nice long reject chain, and that helps. Now, that part you could not have helped. The question is, was it down to 4? If it's down to 4, so be it. But if they miss the reject entirely, then it's basically just a win either way. Maybe we'll find out later, but it's a spy win from G-Man when they really needed them to keep serve, and now we're going to move on to our Arturiax on Modern as Duke.
Modern Arturiax.
Hey, the E is there for a reason, my friend. I insist we pronounce it, or at least I'm going to continue to do so.
Moderne?
Modern A. Fine, I'll take it. At least you're acknowledging the letter is there. I am ready when you guys are.
Yeah.
All right, started in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I don't care what you say. I don't care how you say the E. Just that you acknowledge its existence. That's all I ask. Arturiax is going to do a hard redirect early in the chaos of Modern for a flirt, but not to actually stand next to their ST, and that's a green test for 31%, not a sentence I get to utter very often.
Yeah, you can snuggle with your ST on Modern A.
On Modern A? You can absolutely do it on Modern A, yes. Especially when you do a hard redirect anyway. I think at that point you might as well. Instead, they're going to leave quickly afterwards, long before the flirt timer goes up. You don't want a flirt timer across from your ST again. We're going to go into statues, and Arturiax is just determined, it looks like, to make a lot of steady progress this game. We're going to have 2 inspects, and the flirt a third done in the first 45 seconds of Modern.
I get to ask you a question again, Track. How do you feel about going to statues early on Modern?
On Modern. I like it fine. I don't have any problem with it because normally it's the second statue visit that's going to get you. On the other hand, if you wait, you could get a fingerprint and the inspects and maybe never go a second time. So now, if you want to chase a fingerprint on statues later, for example, or something like that, you're going to be necessarily completing inspects, which does have a bit of a downside to it. But if Arturiax is paying enough attention, they're going to see there's already been several statue visitors, so a second statue visit matters a lot less in a Modern game where there have been a lot of statue visitors. The problem is when there's only 2 or 3 of them, and it lets the sniper narrow down who could be done quite a bit. But when it's 5 or 6, not as much of a risk, and it looks like it's shaping up to be that kind of game with another statue visitor. As I'm talking, it's going to be one of the twins. Arturiax is going to go to bar after getting a second flirt done. We have 2 flirts for 57%. That's not what you want to see, but you'll take it. Still plenty of time. We're going to pick up the delegate, and we're going to try to get another seduce in. And they do not take a drink. The seduce is done. It's another green flirt that's not next to the ST, but it's enough. We managed to 3 flirt with 2 green tests.
I mean, it worked. It worked.
I can't complain too much. Fake's going to come off here, and I think it's going to lead into a delegate with...
Banana bread.
Oh, boy. It's going to be a fake either way, but now we're going to delegate to our seduction target instead of the SDA because the SDA left. That could be very significant. Don't know if it was going to be deliberate either way. There is a benefit to delegating to a cast member because they don't get watched when they go, but that led off several lowlights too. Bug happens while G-Man is watching the bar, so it might be narrowed down, but I think the bug is completely clean. They were zoomed in at the time. 3.5 missions done.
Yeah, this looks really good for Arturiax. They just need to get BB and then finish the specs, I guess. They could like flirt with getting fingerprints if they really wanted to.
Look at this, a low light for the actual Purloiner. Very interesting. It's delayed there, but it works. Here's the second statue visit. That's a big moment, and he is not shot yet. And all we need now is a real BB to finish up. Was that an animation break? I'm not sure, but it's going to be a highlight from G-Man.
This could be just a... Sorry, this could be just a highlight for going to statues at this point in time in the game.
It actually could be. We're going in for the banana bread, but Pearls leaves, can't do the double agent, can't contact them. They're going to go all the way to bar, and this is a slow character, which means every decision this character makes to go somewhere other than conversation is going to be drawn out. They only need to make a couple of choices to go somewhere other than conversation for them literally to never be available to contact again at this point in the game. It is totally plausible that contact might not be on the table. If you're Arturiax, you're going to wait and see where they go next, but you have to make alternate plans. Yeah. They're going to statues next, and wherever they go, it's going to take them a while to get there after that. Arturiax is just left sitting in this useless conversation, one mission away from another mission win.
He's a very high suspect at this point.
Yep,
we could see from G-Man's camera.
G-Man is making us... is making us nauseated, and Arturiax has got to be nauseated too. The double agent indeed goes to books. That is bar to statues to books in the last minute of the game. Arturiax is probably not going to get a chance to contact this double agent. Let's leave right now. They're going to leave, and what's it going to be? They are going to go into statues.
And swap?
You're not going to get your inspect swap. You're going to get your inspect, then your swap, and they're just shot just like that.
All right. That kind of swap makes me think that they saw the animation break.
I think it's very plausible. The way that shot came off made me think that they probably were going to get shot anyway for the banana bread, but it's hard to say. Hard to say.
Shot for anything at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see here at the end here too is
shot
that
for talking.
Disney goes to the statues literally at the same time and does not pick up a highlight. It's extremely likely he saw the animation break.
Yeah, I think that might have cost him the game. It really looks like that bug was just beautifully timed in the wake of the Purloin, and I think he had a chance there if he doesn't break animation, and if he BBs a little closer. We've seen this over and over in both sets tonight. The spy enters a conversation intending to do something, and they wait a little while to do it, and it backfires, and that is a very likely spy win lost for Arturiax.
Yeah, I really feel pain for Arturiax there. Like, that was a beautifully executed game, except for a small mistake that lost it for him.
That's the game. That's why Sniper wins a little more than Spy, because you only need to catch one mistake, and I think maybe there was just the one mistake, and it might have cost them the game.
Agreed. All right, on to the next game.
Yep, G-Man up 3-2, playing as Wheels, starting in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And now, G-Man playing for a win as Spy rather than a desperately needed tie. It is on Modern. That's going to be hard to pull off, but as we've just seen, it can be done.
Thank God they took control. I mean, maybe it wouldn't have been that bad. Like, we could have talked about anything we wanted if they were just AI controlling the whole game.
That's true. That's true. We'd have a lot of time. We could just tell stories, really. ST comes to us. We're going to take that free 34%. We're going to take the delegate too. And there's 4 people at bar early. Gonna sip there? Wait a little while? Just take it easy. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and enough people died, like, delegating at some point.
I think it's probably a pretty decent choice, but again, there's just no downside to taking it for now.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go into an interesting conversation, and you got to imagine we're going to see where Duke ends up next. Getting the flirt done quickly on Modern is very hard, but when you do, it can fold into a very powerful rush. Duke is not going to accommodate. He's going to go to Windows instead. Let's see if G-Man follows. He's close enough that it would actually work, but no, he's hesitated, so now it's too late probably. And we're going to delegate to Taft instead, and we're going to bail. Turns out the seduction target takes a sip at Windows. They were going to be there quite a while. A flirt would have been fine, but instead we're going to get the heck out of Dodge while Taft goes to the bar. Arturiax not looking at it yet. Here comes the Purloin.
Okay, you missed it, but I think that bun was just low-lit for making it look like they were an ST. Because like the arrow was over their head, but it wasn't actually them.
Oh, very interesting. Well, it's not going to hurt them. It's going to be a free low light instead. The Purloin has come off. Arturiax seems to have seen it. We're going to get a few low lights. They're going to try to remember who was and wasn't at bar. So far, all the low lights are correct, I believe.
There's only one incorrect low light.
If they're low lighting for bar visitors, there could be a few more. I think there have only been 6 so far. Low lights they're trickling out here. So far, so good. Another flirt at bar again. We've got to stop meeting like this. And we're going to try to lose a little bit of heat by taking a drink after the Purloin has gone off, I think. But we are not one of the low lights. We are one of the possible Purloiners still. Flirt is 2/3 of the way done. Purloin is done, but that's actually not that much progress for Modern with a little over 2 minutes left. If they can go finish this flirt, though, they'll have a lot more in the way of options.
Would you say that...
Whoa, there was a stop in the middle of nowhere. Sorry, please continue with your question. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there.
I'm really confused also, but I feel like G-Man's behind at this point in the game. 2 minutes left. 2 missions done.
Well, it's hard to say for sure. It really depends on how much of a suspect they are for that Purloin. But when you look at all those lowlights, yeah, the fact that they have 9 lowlights, I think that's what makes them behind. It's not so much about the progress. It's about the progress relative to who's left. I think when you combine those lowlights, yes, they're probably behind. The flirt is done, though, at least. There was a weird little moment where they halted outside conversation. Not sure if it was seen or not. Almost like Wheels' wheels got stuck or something. I don't know, but... They really need to get that banana bread done soon. There's 90 seconds left, and as you mentioned, only 2 missions done. Duke is acting like an AI bouncing around, does not get a low light for it, though. And G-Man is just idling in this conversation. We cannot afford to do that much longer.
Yeah, I like going, like, maybe starting fingerprints, doing some book shenanigans, getting inspects, anything.
That's
anything
true, right?
Except for this.
If you had one inspect or one fingerprint in the pocket already, you'd feel a lot better about this. And that's about 30 to 40 seconds that have drained off the clock since I mentioned that they were low on time. Now, it has gone from a bit of a problem to a huge problem. They are in a narrowed-down party with only 2 missions done. It's going to be very hard to finish. They're going to go try to get the contact done, though. Looks like they still want to finish here.
I think they're trying to finish they have to time ad before 30 seconds.
Probably. They might just be trying to induce a shot with this banana bread based on how long they're taking to do it. Again, the spy enters the conversation. We've seen it all night. Enters the conversation and does not take the action they're there to take for quite a while. Time is trickling off. This makes me think G-Man is determined not to finish. They're going to try to do the banana bread now and induce a shot.
Banana bread.
It's a white. Duke is in conversation, and SDA leaves right afterwards. Duke is talking. If they don't get shot, I don't think anyone's going to. No indication of shots coming off. It's going to be a time ad during the beeps late. Rocker's going to follow us to window. Doesn't matter. It's going to be a white time ad. Let's see if the lowlights come off. G-Man gets out of there in a hurry, but it's down to 2, I think. Rocker picks up the highlights. So does Wheels. We've got it down to 2.
I was scared that Rocker was about to get shot there.
Oof, very close.
Yeah, down to 2.
And Rocker was, I believe, one of the early bar visitors, so the lowlights are correct. We're down to 2 people. It's going to be an inspect. I don't know if
Inspect swap, maybe?
It's going to be pretty hard to get away with that as one of 2 possible suspects. 20 seconds left. We're going to have to time out again. It's going to have to be a bug into what? Into an inspect? Arturiax is all over this. The bug takes the shot, does not miss. And that is just, again, we say it over and over, that's just a pacing issue. The Purloin seemed decent, but one of the reasons Arturiax won that game was that they got a lot of steady lowlights. I called it a trickle of lowlights because that's what it was. It came out very slowly as they tried to remember who was at bar. All of them were correct as far as I can tell, and that meant the party was really narrowed down, which made the timeout easy to catch, and the bug even easier. G-Man does not pull ahead. It's tied at 3.
3-3, and we're on to... Is this the far... This has to be the third
This is the third.
Game.
Yep.
This is the third, yes.
I have a degree in mathematics.
Mathematics is not counting. They're 2 totally different disciplines as far as I'm concerned. And it's going to be Smallman, controlled by Arturiax, whenever you guys are ready.
All right, starting off in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Okay.
You can get up to some shenanigans as Smallman on basically any venue. We talked earlier about how it's lessened on places like Terrace. It is lessened on Modern as well because Modern is not about occlusion. Modern is about activity.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, you can hide as Smallman on this map. especially when like CC powers up.
Absolutely. When the CC is at its full power, when it's the fully armed and operational conversation circle, indeed, you can get a lot of cover for it, particularly back between the green and blue bookshelves. You get a lot of occlusion back there, but not too many other places. There is a rush of bar visitors right now, and there's also going to be a difficult fingerprint on blue bookshelves in a second. Arturiax bouncing from window to window, really wants to get some mission progress in. They can, wow, interesting, does not choose to go next to their ST, stands across from them instead, and we're going to get 29% on the white test. A little better than I was expecting, though.
They got an early time ads, so they have some time to spare.
Yeah, and
Not
they're
much
definitely
time.
burning it.
they are definitely burning it. That is correct.
And it's hard to get away with time ads here, even as Smallman with that quick watch check, because you just get such good visibility on those windows. If there were a window tucked back where those statues are by green bookshelf, might be a little different, but instead it's so exposed. But in this case, it looks like Arturiax probably got away with it. They are going to go to that bookshelf. They are going to try to hit a fingerprint. They do hit the difficult fingerprint, and that's going to open up a lot of options as the game goes on. Now you can plan around a second fingerprint if you want and probably not be credited. There was a nice little delay there, too. If they can go in and get another flirt now, this will be a really good start with that time ad. We're going to go right into green shelves. And there's a lot of cover here, as I mentioned before, from that conversation.
Oh, that's
fingerprintable, too. And we're done with fingerprint just like that. There's 3.5 minutes left on the clock. Flirt is partially done. Fingerprint is done. We are small. Things are looking pretty good.
Yeah. This is actually really great. We got fingerprint done pretty quickly. Now we just need to finish up flirting, get a BB at some point in time, and probably delegate. Delegate seems like the best option here. Ooh.
Oh, seduction target leaves right during the flirt. And that's not a problem yet, but we've seen this before, haven't we? You miss a crucial flirt for one reason or another. This time, Arturiax did not make the mistake we've been observing all night. They actually talked pretty quickly, but the seduction target had none of it. But in this case, it's going to be very easy to imagine this game could start to spiral out if the seduction target does not cooperate. Arturiax has to make progress. They're going to go to windows. Are they really thinking about time adding again?
I think they could get away with it.
Maybe. Nope, they're just going to wait for a second. They're going to bounce around off the furniture and try to get another flirt in. And if they leave here, suddenly things are going to get a little scary. They do not. It's a green test, 80%, so even a very bad flirt will finish that off wherever. And we're still in pretty good shape. That helps a lot, but we're going to have to go to statues or something. A bug attempt coming up, I think.
Yeah.
That is going to take in conversation.
Nice.
It's going to be through Alice, and with that much occlusion, that size character through another character, that is so hard to guard. And Arturiax looks emboldened by getting away with it. We're going to go right into Inspects, and I think they have the critical path to victory in their mind. It's going to be finish Inspects, finish Flirt, and then do the banana bread and dare him to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Where's it going to be? Are we going to go get a delegate, or are we going to go finish Inspects? It's going to be we're going to bar.
Delegate. Okay. Yeah, delegate's fine.
It does give us some
options.
options.
Yeah.
But if it prevents you from going to Inspects, from finishing those Inspects in any statue, that would be different.
I think you can get away with a BB gulp.
You probably can. Good call. Good call.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the real double agent is Irish, for those watching on Sniper Cam, and we are not in the conversation with them. In fact, I'm not sure where we are. I think the idea is going to be delegate into either Inspect or Seduce. I think the goal's going to be a silent game. Otherwise, why would you? You don't want to throw away now, maybe you want to avoid a second Inspect visit, but it's going to be one of the two. You either want to avoid the second statue visit or you want to avoid the banana bread. One or the other. And we're headed to a conversation with the DA. The DA leaves, so that...
No, don't go into conversation.
Yep, I think there was a chance maybe to slam into them and use it as an excuse to redirect. Instead, we're going to do a very quick leave. That is technically a hardtail, I believe. I do not think that was a full idle. There's 50 seconds left, and now that missed flirt earlier seems huge. Just like I mentioned, they're going to go and follow the DA into this conversation. There will not be a purloin, I don't think. There's the banana bread. And you need to seduce and inspect. The seduction target is getting a briefcase and is now low lit, so you need to inspect now. You're going to be cutting this very, very close. That missed inspect is probably the game now, because otherwise you would be inspecting for the countdown. Instead, you're going to have to do it very, very quickly. You need two of them, too. That's going to take a few more precious seconds off the clock. The ST is going to go to books. It's going to make their next move very hard to predict.
We have to swap at this point.
I think you might have to. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be a white swap. G-Man seems to be thinking about it. They see it. They pull the trigger, and Arturiax just like the earlier game we saw, so close to what looked like an easy mission win. Look at that heartbreaking seduce meter, 80%. I didn't think when I said it that it was likely to happen, that missed flirt would cost them the game, but it's absolutely what happened.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate. For some of those missed opportunities, like not exactly their fault that the ST was leaving, walking around a lot, or that the DA wanted to walk around a lot, but like their decision making after that incident happened lost them a lot of time. Like I'm thinking back to the point where they walked to windows, but then didn't time add. Like that's just a lot of time wasted.
I completely agree. I think it was a mix of good luck and bad luck. The ambassador coming to us in that position was tremendously good luck, and the spy deserves a lot of credit for taking advantage. We say the game is about luck, but also opportunism, so you give them partial credit at least when something falls in their lap that they don't drop it, and they didn't. It was very well played there, but there were a couple other moments. They did not hesitate on the flirt. The ST just happened to leave, but there were a few other times where they could have prioritized the flirt next rather than just sort of idle at windows. This is not the kind of venue where you can go to Windows and idle and still be very near your ST. In this case, going to Windows is a big time commitment if your character is not particularly quick. So in this case, it did make a big difference. Obviously, the DA bailing didn't help either, but there were a few options there with, as I said, prioritizing the flirt. It's surprising it rebounded on them late, but you never know when it's going to. 20% shy of a much-needed mission win, and instead, G-Man has a chance to pull ahead now as Spy, Cowboy on Modern whenever you're ready.
Yep, starting in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Another Spy win slips through the Spy's fingers. That is a, really, really edge of the pad there from the AI. G-Man just barely makes it to red bookshelf, and they're going to bail with that book really quick. There was a lot of early activity at Windows, and the Ambassador's kind of vulnerable.
No. What are you doing?
We're trying to take our book to bar. Now, Wodar,
Yeah?
I like a good trip to the bar. I like a good book. I don't think I've ever tried to read a book in a bar, though.
I mean, they say don't book and drink.
Yeah, don't.
I thought they were going to be like insane and just take out the microphone at the bar.
Yeah.
Like who sees that coming?
Whiskey and literature don't mix unless you're Hemingway. G-Man tries to bring a book to a bar and gets promptly thrown out. I would say by the bouncer Damon, but I don't think Damon's really going to do much of anything. G-Man does get a green flirt in the meantime. That will help a little bit. We're still holding this red book, and if we don't put it back soon, I think we're probably not going to put it back in red. We do have a highlight already, though. Probably for doing something that you're not allowed to do.
I don't blame G-Man. Like you have two hands. A book in one hand and drink in the other. Why doesn't that sound fine?
Well, simply for the ways in which the game is divorced from reality, I'm afraid. That is breaking an idol very quickly in the conversation. We were not there nearly long enough. We're going to dump in blue bookshelf, and I have to imagine we're a pretty big suspect already. But a shot has not come off yet, so either Arturiax is holding to confirm, could be a highlight for I don't know where that book came from, which is just as valid, certainly.
G-Man has at least been acting strange. Which, people highlight for strange things.
Yeah, there have been a lot of little strange little moves. We saw a pathing issue earlier as wheels, and we also saw a little bit one there as they kind of, I think, hit into the briefcase or into a character picking up the briefcase too. It's not going to hurt you as much as it would on maybe another venue, but we've seen some pathing issues from G-Man already tonight, and there was another one there. And I feel like we probably have a little bit too much heat relative to our amount of progress. What do you think?
Yeah, agreed. But Toby forgave us. He finally gave us the drink that we wanted this whole time.
Toby said, that's more like it. Come back without a book and I'll serve you. And he has. And we've got a delegate in our pocket now. And we're going to banana bread, I think, into a delegate into Queen. Let's see. Yeah, it's exactly what happens. Look, it's a common move. Everyone knows spies do it. And even knowing they do it, it's still powerful.
Arturiax did not expect a BB there. No lowlights went off.
Really interesting, yeah. So that actually makes me worry that they're pretty sure about the microfilm. When you don't see normal low-light behaviors, it can often be an indication that the sniper has a huge suspect that they're trying to mask their shot for.
Sure, you think they're just waiting for G-Man to be actually done?
That's exactly what happens here. There we go. Yep, that's what happens. If the lowlights are not making sense, if the highlights are not making sense, if someone has normally highlights for statues and they stop doing it, and if they don't even bother to lowlight for banana bread, it's usually a pretty good indication that they're tunneling on someone and waiting on them. And it seems to be the case here. I think they just caught him for the microfilm and or bringing a book to a bar. You don't bring a knife to a gunfight. You don't bring a book to a bar. And that is a sniper win for Arturiax. We are still tied.
Wow. Still tied. Would you say that Toby won the game, though? I think Toby won the game for the sniper.
That's fair. Yeah, if Toby would just loosen his standards a little bit and say, yeah, I'll give you a drink in your non-book hand, that might have worked out fine. But then we'd be playing a totally different game now, wouldn't we?
People don't actually know this, but if you see look behind the bar, there's a sign that says book equals no drink.
Yeah, no books allowed.
Go look for it.
No shirt, no shoes, book, no service. That's what the sign says. Arturiax's spy, Smallman, balcony, ready when you are.
Starting off in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And we are all knotted up at 4, and this game matters for both people. That is a weird little take control into a bug. The bug is completely invisible. You don't, and it's going to be a BB right away. Boom, boom, boom. G-Man either has to shoot now or forever hold your peace. It is. Let's see. Here comes 1. It is a 19-second, well, maybe 20 seconds mission win on balcony. That is not an SCL record, but it is pretty darn close. It's about 2 to 3 seconds shy, in case you were wondering. And you weren't wondering, but I'll confirm, the fastest games happen just like that. Bug into BB, usually a Smallman. Boom, boom. The bug was not visible, but the take control, reposition, and conversation was, and that's what you got to catch him for. Blink and you miss it. It's a spy win for Arturiax, 5 to 4.
I like to believe that if I was playing as sniper and I see Smallman after the ambassador leans down, I will have shot. But even then, I might not have.
I think you got to shoot for the reposition, and when you hear the bug, it's either Smallman's done or someone has the presence of mind to realize it looks like Smallman's done. Either way, you probably got to take that shot. And now G-Man really needs this. Arturiax with a sniper win can secure at least a point.
I love balcony. I need more of my fix.
Yeah, to note, the bug actually was visible. You could see the hand going through, but there's like, if you don't even recognize the character is
there's too much
there,
happening.
if you don't even
enough,
recognize the
fair
character is there, there's just no way. But yeah.
Good point. Good catch.
Anyways, starting off with Papa Danger on balcony. Let's see if we can get some bug as good as that. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Good is an interesting word for it. It's certainly something.
It's the fight of broken characters. Which one's the most broken, Smallman or Papa Danger?
Yeah, remember, Papa Danger, Kane as we sometimes call him, Morgan Freeman to those Hollywood fans, was Smallman before Smallman with that overpowered Kane side bug, which has been nerfed very slightly, but only very slightly. It's still treacherous. And we early talkers are getting highlight here.
Banana bread.
G-Man, 34% on the flirt. Takes a banana bread with 2 people out of conversation. That is very bold. Normally you do that if you'd bugged already, for example, and you could win in 10 seconds. I think instead it's a pretty questionable choice, and this party, which was not very big to begin with, is already very narrowed down, Wodar.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Irish was getting... God, I said Irish. Was getting a drink, so they got a low ledge there.
Yeah,
Green Dress was getting a drink. Green Dress.
Green dress. Irish, Mediterranean, the lady in green. That's what you need to know. And G-Man's trying to timer flirt. Not going to work. The ST is busy bringing that briefcase back to the ambassador instead. So very thoughtful. And they're going to go to Windows, which is less thoughtful for seduction purposes. Will G-Man chase? No, they will not, even though we are at 45 seconds, which means we are not going to be able to timer flirt for the win no matter what now. There's a reposition of Windows.
Bug here. We can bug right here.
Can you bug through? Can you bug through?
No, don't leave.
Does not take the decision to, and also does not go to Windows. G-Man opts for none of the above, except for a very quick window leave. We're going to go next to the ST, but why bother? You need a 3 flirt anyway. You're going to have to leave after this. It's going to be a talk. That's 2 flirts, and we're shot anyway. Just like that, in the shoe. Only 2 flirts done. It was just so spy-like. The window leave was so quick. Short path and a quick talk.
Quick talk.
And as far as they're concerned, it could be done already. I think the moment they decided not to bug and or go to Windows was when that game was decided. Arturiax is up 6 to 4, has at least a point, and now they're going to spy on Aquarium for an outright win.
Baby shark. Do, 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 do.
Well, I was thinking more like dun 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 dun. Yeah, it's not as catchy, but it's a little more famous, a bit more iconic.
All right, we're gonna be playing as Leopard or Rocker, whatever you want to call her. Arturiax spying for the win in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I think Leopard's just as good as Rocker. That's a personal thing. I have no issue with it. Leopard / Rocker. making their way through the party. Really looks like they want to get a flirt in. Cowboy does oblige by coming into the conversation circle, but it's across from us. It's going to be just 22% on the white test. But there's plenty of time. This venue starts with 4 minutes, and you can get a lot done quickly. Ambassador is at statues. They're going to leave a fingerprint there. Middle Shark's going to come across with the Ambassador nowhere near, unfortunately. And Arturiax is just hanging loose.
Just letting it all out there.
Let it hang all out there. Looks like we're going to timer flirt across from Cowboy here, potentially. A little atypical, but it can work. You can get away with some pretty aggressive flirts here sometimes. Maybe not against Yeesh. Maybe not against our esteemed host. I think like that's the kind of thing he would watch for. Ambassador touches another statue. Both statues on the far left now have fingerprints on them. Arturiax still not doing anything. The cooldown expires. And are we going to flirt again? I think we have to. We do. This time it's green, so we're going to get to 57%, but we're still going to need a green to 3 flirt. That's not the position you want to be in, unfortunately. G-Man watching that bug very, very closely. It's top shark, so the bottom half of each character was still visible. No bug attempt taken. And Arturiax has had quite enough of waiting for these lackluster timer flirts. We are going to go into side statues. There is going to be a print on it.
Yeah.
ST's going to go to bar along with the Ambassador. So there's going to be a... Nope. There's going to be 2 people before them, so the print's going to be gone by the time we get there. Arturiax takes the print and the inspects. Do we go statue to statue to finish the print? That's the question. That's exactly what we do. Arturiax is not going to finish inspects here, like they could with any other statue fingerprint, but we are going to finish fingerprint real quick, and it's possible that because those statues are right next to each other, the G-Man might only credit one of the 2.
Yeah, they might have not realized, I didn't, that both of them were fingerprintable.
If it can get by Wodar, I dare say it can get by quite a few snipers.
Yeah.
Arturiax is going to get another flirt in. We can't get next to our seduction target, and that's going to hurt. It's 87%. Any final flirt will finish, but it will be our 4th when it happens. Inspects done, 2 out of 3. Any flirt will finish. Fingerprint is done, and we haven't taken Banana Bread yet. A second statue visit might be risky, but I think if we do it now, we probably won't get shot. Arturiax has so many ways to win this game, and so many AIs can get shot. It's going to be a bug. It's a very suspicious path by nature of the timing and the positioning, but it is definitely not on screen. Real Banana Bread coming off right afterwards. There it is. G-Man's going to line up the shot on Twin instead. You're on Aquarium for more than 2 straight minutes. You're a suspect and could be done. The shot comes off, and Arturiax is going to win the match with another spy win. It is another 7-4 outcome. Wodar, what'd you think of that last game?
I think it was kind of amazing. Did Twin just get shot for exactly what Arturiax did? Just
right.
bugging when the shock was going past the screen.
It could very well be. Arturiax was actually taking the more suspicious path, but you're right. When people are behind that shark with the Ambassador, it's sort of like, they all go into that dark room together and any of them can come out with the bug. You have to maybe potentially assume any of them could have it. And the fact that Banana Bread comes off right afterwards, we're late enough in the game that flirt could be done and you could have missed something else. But it's hard to imagine what if that Twin didn't have their inspects done. But I don't think it matters if that shot comes off because I think they were done with the fingerprint without enough heat on it. And I think at that point, Seduce was going to win them the game anyway. We'll never know for sure, but Arturiax takes a much-needed win in silver to try to get above that pylon in the middle of the division that I mentioned earlier.
Do they have a chance of getting top, or are we just looking at top?
I think second? it's a little too early there, but because they don't play 10 matches below gold, they play 12. That gives them a little more time, so it is definitely too early to say.
Yeah,
but we'll
a little more leeway.
Absolutely, but that is a really good win for Arturiax.